Whether you or your loved one have been fired, laid off, downsized, or just facing an uncertain employment future, the loss of a job can be extremely stressful on your mental health and your relationships.
So how do we cope with the loss of a job? And how do we know what type of support to provide when our spouse or family member reaches to us for help? Well, here to answer some of our questions, our relationship expert, Dr. Shonda Craft. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Craft. We appreciate it as always. I'm just thinking,
Good morning.
I'm great to see you. I'm just thinking about, like, for a spouse, it's got to be difficult, but even individually, how that job loss affects just a singular person. Of course, it's going to have a huge role in your life.
Absolutely. And really, so much of our lives are wrapped up around our jobs. And so when we have this sudden loss of a job, something that we didn't plan, something that we didn't choose, it can really create this sense of uncertainty about the future. It can bring on, feelings that are associated with grief, like sadness, depression, anxiety. And depending on how long you had your job, your age, and some other demographics, it could be questionable about your ability to gain future employment.
So maybe creating feelings of inadequacy for some folks?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, many people tie their identities to their jobs. And so when you don't have that job to go to, your self-esteem can take a hit. There may even be feelings of shame or embarrassment, depending on, the way that you formulate your identity. And so, people might not really understand why they lost their job. And they may feel a little bit despondent and kind of questioning, okay, what is my future going to look like? And who am I as a person?
Yeah, of course, it takes a toll on the relationship, whatever relationship you may have, whether that be with children, whether that be with the spouse as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the first thing that people really go to is finances, right? Like the financial stress and strain of not having a job. And depending on how your family or your relationship is set up, if you have two incomes, that could be a significant decrease in your ability to manage your household. If that person who is now unemployed was the only income, that can create additional stress if you now need to have other family members or your spouse try to quickly figure out a way to find a job themselves or make up additional income. So just all that financial stress and strain can really take a toll on the overall relationship as well.
So how do you help your loved one without causing them more stress? They're already dealing with the loss, but how do you support them?
Yeah, the first thing is just to give people space, to feel the feelings. There's a lot of grief that goes around job loss, and we know that feelings of loss and grief can really stick around for a long time and take a long time to heal. So just creating that open space, letting your partner or your family member know, hey, I'm here for you whenever you want to talk, being ready to listen without any sort of judgment. And it's really important to also keep some faith and some hope for them, right? Like be patient. It's going to take time to do a job search if that is what that person wants to do. It may take time for them to secure another job. And so in the meantime, you want to make sure that you're staying really patient with them and not putting any undue pressure on that person.
You just talked about something, if you do have that unexpected job loss, it's a break. Clearly, it's a break from the normal workforce and whatnot. What about a daily routine? Is it a good idea to keep some of those daily routines in place, or not so much?
Absolutely. I mean, getting up and going to, get ready to go to a job is a routine in and of itself. And so there may be a tendency to want to say, okay, I'm going to stay in bed because I'm depressed, I'm sad. You may still need to get up and do other things around the house. Maybe now you're the person responsible for getting the kids on the school bus or helping out with household chores. So anything that you can do to still maintain some sense of a routine, things that you do consistently every day, things that you can look forward to and that you feel like really utilize your skill set or keep your mind active is really important because at this time of not having a job, it can really feel like there's a big gap in your day. So figuring out a way to fill that in healthy ways and active ways is really important.
And before we let you go, talk about the importance of staying positive and also just listening without judgment. That probably makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important. Sometimes people will say things like, well, that's okay. I'm sure you'll find another job soon. Or, maybe this is an opportunity for you to take a break. That could feel really dismissive for that other person. So it is really important to ask them what kind of help they need. Can you help them with their resume? Can you do some job searching for them? But really just letting them know that you are there for them, that their job is not the totality of who they were. They still have ways to contribute to your family, your relationship, and give them the space to be able to explore what they want to do next in a way that feels good for them.
Recognizing that you do still have self-worth. You're more than just your job. I like how you summed that up. Dr. Craft, as always, we appreciate your insight. Thanks for joining us.